Broadcasting from Slough. Streaming around the world.
This is Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
The podcast.
Atom Radio. Oh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear.
The podcast.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Hello and welcome to episode 103 of the Atom Radio Best Bits of Drive Time podcast. I want to start today, and I don't mean to rub it in, by just saying by the time you are listening to this, I have finished work for a week. I've got a week off coming up, so I will be relaxing and chilling and just doing things that I wouldn't normally get the chance to do. It's all good. I will, however, leave you with this little montage of the best bits of this week's drive time, including Welshism, midlife crisis, and this is a crazy one, it really is, strange followings on social media, flat earth idiots, and also 80s things that are still going strong. All that and more is on the way in the next few moments on the podcast. Not even our longest episode today, and for that I apologise, but it is the best bits of this week's drive time for you to enjoy. Grab yourself a cuppa, turn it up, and off you go.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
A sheep. Yes, a sheep. Single sheep has sold for £367,500. Do you know what? I'm more surprised, though, than the price. I'm more surprised this happened in Scotland and not Wales.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
You know, I mentioned earlier about that expensive sheep. Should have been careful what I said. A 61-year-old Welshman is suing his former employer for racism after claiming colleagues made repeated references to sheep and, you can guess the next word, and also named the office mannequin Barbara.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Atom Radio, the home of the music you want to hear, and we are on the internet, the future of radio. That means you can listen on atomradio.co.uk, on TuneIn, on iTunes Radio, and your smart speaker. Promise I'd tell you about this man and his midlife crisis. The man grew up near Honeysuckle Creek in Australia. Some of his school friends' parents worked for NASA, making sure that everything ran smoothly. And he does go on to say, the original moon landing is one of my earliest memories. Now, this man may very well be having a midlife crisis because he bought himself a spacesuit. I kid you not. He genuinely bought himself a spacesuit. Some men in their midlife crisis buy a menopause. I decided to buy a spacesuit, he says. Seriously, the man not only bought a spacesuit, but he carries it everywhere and wears it at every opportunity. If that's not a midlife crisis, I don't know what is. I mean, at least a Porsche is of some use, isn't it? If you're buying a spaceship and you have no intention of going to space, that is just a genuine waste of money, isn't it?
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Thank you, Nikki, so much for your email. I love this. I never listened until lockdown started. And today was my first day back in the office, and I asked my boss if we could put one of the PCs on to listen to your show, and she said yes. Yay! I love that. Nikki, thank you so much for still being there. Have a go at the brain teaser as well, although hopefully at 20 to 6 you'll be done for our Tuesday.
Mark Denholm.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
4:21, it is Mark with you here until 7 o'clock tonight. A YouTuber who makes $100,000 a year from his YouTube channel is going to be the 40th Blue Peter presenter. The BBC are looking to freshen up the programme. They've hired a YouTuber. Do you know what? I do watch stuff on YouTube. What I don't get is these people that make like 100,000 a year, maybe 200, 300, perhaps even $1 million a year from videos of what could only be called nonsense. I don't get who watches those. Genuinely, it's beyond me.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Just got a notification pop up on my phone, which reminded me of something I was going to tell you yesterday. I have been invited to connect on Instagram by two marriage celebrants, okay? Has nothing at all to do with my line of work, so I'm not sure why they would have added me on that. And I'm a single man, so I won't be getting married, so I'm not sure why they've added me on that either. This has just left me confused.
Mark Denholm.
atomradio.co.uk.
It is Friday the 4th of September. May the 4th be with you, even if we are, 4 months late for that. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, I must say, this has made me laugh. Flat earthers have been quarantined after trying to find the end of the world during lockdown. You idiots. Genuinely. You've got to admire their persistence. You've also got to admire their stupidity as well. Like, don't they get dizzy just walking round and round and round and round in a circle? Like, the end's got to be here somewhere. Oh no, we're back where we started.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
I asked you what you still got from the 80s that is original. I love this. Colin says, I've still got my 80s car on the drive. It's now a restoration project, but I have still got the original car, which I bought, which is my first ever car in the 80s. It's going to be restored, and at the moment, it's a non-runner. Colin, be honest with you, be honest with me. Is it going to be restored, or is it just going to sit there? Are you doing it yourself, or is it just going to sit there? And you're going to think, no. Also, Sarah says, I got out my 80s game console, my old Atari game console from the 80s. Needless to say, my children who are used to a PlayStation 4 were not impressed. I can imagine. Like, you know, I played those and they were quite good for their time. But now, put them against the PlayStation, you're onto a losing battle, aren't you?
atomradio.co.uk.
I'm trying to think of things that I have from the 80s that are still going. Tell you what I do have, and I have no idea if it's still going or not because it's boxed up and in my loft at home. And that is my 80s hi-fi separates. They're all Technics, a couple of CD players, a amp in there, tape deck as well, double tape deck. Who remembers those? I don't even think I've got any tapes anymore, but I've still got it, and I have no idea if or not it is still going. So it's there. I don't know if it's still going or not. But anyway, what I'll have to do with my week off is check it out and see if it is still going. So I will be back then on the week after next. This week I am off. Graham Bell will still be on in the morning at 7 a.m. with the breakfast show. You will still get your Music Monsters at midday. Those are both UK times. But in terms of drive time, I have the week off, which I fully intend to enjoy. Thank you, as always, for checking out the podcast. Make sure you subscribe and tell your friends too so they can have a listen.
Atom Radio. Playing the music you want to hear.
Check out the show back on Monday on atomradio.co.uk, and don't forget you can subscribe on iTunes, on Spotify and on Google as well. Keep yourself well.
Atom Radio.